For this lab, this was my circuit. It's simply a wire providing a 5-volt voltage source to the circuit board and a black wire leading to the ground. And then both the ground and the voltage source are connected to this potentiometer, and the potentiometer has a wire that acts as a voltage divider, and it can read the value of the resistance on this, and it is plugged into pin A0, so it reads a value from 0 to 1023 depending on the resistance that it reads. And so you can see in my Arduino code that the first thing that I do in the loop function is I am reading that A0 pin value. And after that, I am changing those 0 to 1023 values to 600 and 2400. And those values simply correspond to the servo motor that I'm using. The data sheet was the one that was provided in the lab assignment. However, I found that using 1000 microseconds and 2000 microseconds just simply was not close enough to get the full range value of the servo motor. So with some testing, I was able to get these two values to get the servo motor to do its full range. And so those values are going to give me my T control, and using that T control value, I can set a duty cycle for this pulse modulation that I'm going to send to pin 3, digital pin 3. And so I'll set it high for that T control, and that's anywhere from 600 microseconds to 2400 microseconds, and that's the same as 0.6 milliseconds and 2.4 milliseconds. And for the full period of 20,000 microseconds or 20 milliseconds. And that's how long I'm going to write it low. And that creates a pulse, a duty cycle for the servo motor to kind of use and guide the angle that it's going to work at. And I've also defined this integer servo angle, and I'm also using this map function to basically take our T control values from 600 to 2400 and do our max and min values for the servo angle, so -90 to 90. And so when I upload this to the serial monitor, you can see that it's going to print T control and servo angle. And so I can pull up the serial monitor. And as I turn my potentiometer here, so I'll turn it all the way to the left, we'll get a T whatever value of 2400, which is the max, and a max servo angle of 90. And if I turn it all the way to the right, we get a -90 and a 600 for our T. And so I can also turn this to the center, and that'll be like our neutral. Sorry, my potentiometer is kind of tricky. But if I turn it to the center, we can get basically a 0. And that's our neutral axis, or that's where it's going to be 0 degrees. And so I can plug in my servo motor also to the same circuit and give it a voltage source and a ground. And I can turn the potentiometer. There's the minimum, -90. There's the maximum, +90. And our neutral is going to be right about there. I'm really sorry, my potentiometer is really it wiggles out of place. But this is all the way to the left, all the way to the right. And you can go as fast and slow as you want. Thanks for watching.